Hi, this is Olga from Wholesale USA Dresses.com. Since I started in the wholesale and closeout business, I have received hundreds of requests for overstock pallets. I completely understand why there's such a big demand for overstock pallets. An overstock pallet is basically an assortment of brand new merchandise that is often sold for as low as pennies on the dollar. Everyone loves the idea of purchasing brand name merchandise for as low as 5% of the original retail value. When buying a pallet of merchandise, you are essentially getting a variety of merchandise, but at a lower price than if you bought the contents for the pallet individually. For example, a pallet of wholesale dresses would contain a variety of different brand, styles, colors, and sizes. The pallet can be sold as a percentage of the total original retail or wholesale value of the dresses, or at the set price based on the quantity of dresses in the pallet. For instance, a pallet that has 500 dresses with a total original wholesale value of $50,000 might be sold for 20% of original retail value. The pallet would be sold for $10,000, or the price for the pallet might be based on an unit price of $20 each. A pallet with 100 dresses would be sold for $2,000. The wholesale price per dress might ordinarily be $25 each, but the price of each dress when sold in pallet is less. Ideally, you would only purchase a pallet when the price per unit is substantially less than if you were to purchase the units separately. For example, I wholesale dresses for up to $30 each in my warehouse. But when someone purchases a pallet of dresses, the price can drop to as low as $12 a dress. There are also pallets that consist of quantities on the exact same item. I have purchased pallets of costume jewelry that contain display cases of the exact same fashion jewelry. Although the pallets did not contain a large assortment, the wholesale price per display case was substantially lower than the wholesale price I would like to pay for each case individually. I have also purchased pallets of blank t-shirts where the t-shirts were all essentially the same, but by purchasing the pallet, I was able to get a rock-bottom closeout price on the t-shirts. There are primarily two different types of overstock pallets. There are manifested and unmanifested pallets. A manifested pallet has a document which lists the entire contents of the pallet. An unmanifested pallet does not contain a list, which is why it's generally sold at a lower wholesale price than a manifested lot is sold at. Keep in mind that even a manifested lot can have mistakes in the packing list due to simple human error. I would recommend taking advantage of the lower price of a manifested pallet provided that you are very familiar with the type of merchandise that the pallet has. Let's say you are purchasing overstock pallets of department store clothing that come from a department store that you are very familiar with. You might be willing to take a chance on the unmanifested pallets since you are familiar with the type of clothing that you will be in the pallet. There's definitely a good chance that you might not like all of the clothing that you will receive in the pallet, but it's just a matter of paying a low enough wholesale price that allows you to offset the clothing that you might not be able to sell. You can always take the safer road and pay a higher wholesale price for a manifested lot, but unless it makes a very big difference exactly which items will be in the pallet, I recommend purchasing unmanifested pallet. For example, if you are purchasing a pallet of dresses, you need to decide how important it is to know exactly which dresses you will receive. I strongly believe that if you are purchasing high quality designer merchandise at a super low closeout price, you can still do well, even if you receive a few items which you might not be able to sell. One of the easiest ways to make sure that the pallets are suitable for you is to visit the warehouse from which you are purchasing the pallets from. I welcome and actually encourage my customers to visit my warehouse. This way they can see the type of merchandise that I wholesale and see if it's what they are looking for. If you cannot visit a warehouse, you should ask a friend or relative to visit on your behalf if possible. If you can't visit or send someone on your behalf, find out if the wholesaler has experience in supplying merchandise to customers in your market. This information will enable you to decide if you should take a chance to make a purchase without seeing the merchandise in person. Some warehouses don't allow visitors, so you need to be very clear on what it is that you're purchasing. You can always ask for references so that you can speak to other people that have purchased pallets from them. One of the issues that you have to be aware of the referred so as cherry picking. Cherry picking is the process of removing the best merchandise from a pallet and then selling the rest. Serious wholesalers will not do this because we want to keep a long-term relationship with our customers. We understand that in order for retailers to continue purchasing merchandise from us, they need to be very satisfied with the pallets that they purchase from us. Another option that I offer in my warehouse is allowing customers to make their own pallets. Customers can basically visit my warehouse, make their own selection, and then receive the lower wholesale prices that are usually only available for pallet purchase. For instance, I wholesale women's suits for $39 each. If a customer visits the warehouse and make their own pallet of 50 suits, the price per suit will now only be $34.99 each, which is the pallet price. It goes without saying that you need to decide if purchasing by the pallet makes sense for your business. Certain businesses, including high-end boutiques, can be better off paying a higher wholesale price per item, but making sure that they only purchase the exact item that they need. Many boutiques owners visit my warehouse so that they can make their own selection, which makes sense since they want to make a selection that reflects the tastes of their customers. Pallets are generally best for retailers that have a wide range of customers. I have seen many flea market vendors and discount stores do well with overstock pallets. Since they have a wide range of customers, it's easier for them to sell the different items that can come in pallet. I would recommend buying from the perspective of your customers. Is the pallet likely to contain the type of merchandise that your customers like to buy? The answer should guide you in your wholesale buying decision-making process. Please visit our wholesale warehouse in New York.